Hi everyone, welcome to engineproducts.com. I am Krishnendu Chattopadhyay from engineproducts.com. I am going to present to you today Engine Secure version 1.0, which is a product for data encryption in SAP NetWeaver technology. To brief you about the product, this product can be used in any use cases which require online data encryption in SAP NetWeaver technology. So to walk through the use cases of the product, the product can be used in SAP SRM vendor bid response encryption. Bid response encryption involves protecting sensitive data in the codes submitted by bidders online. Now anybody who has the access to SAP SRM system can read code data of any particular vendor or any other vendor in general before the bid opening date and can leak the bid data to other vendors as per his convenience. Now to ensure the confidentiality of e-tenders, bid response encryption prevents anybody who has the access to the system from reading the code data of any vendor before the bid opening date. Once the bid opening date arrives, the purchaser decrypts the bid data and can evaluate the quote. So the product prevents such sensitive quotation data from getting seen or viewed by encrypting the data and storing the database before the bid opening date is arrived. This bid encryption is also a necessity in some countries as per the public sector procurement regulations. For example, in India, Central Vigilance Commission (CVC) has provided guidelines to protect sensitive data in e-tendering process to all public sector organizations and agencies. The second use case of the product is personal identifiable information encryption in non-production SAP system. Now, by non-production SAP system, we mean QA or quality and development systems, which are usually a copy of production system. The PII or personal identifiable information encryption involves protecting sensitive PII data of employee master, vendor master, customer master and any other sensitive information in a SAP QA and dev system. Many countries similarly have provided guidelines to protect such sensitive data. Few examples of such laws protecting PII information are US federal law, the Texas US state law, Canadian law, and certain countries in Europe also right now are preventing such sensitive data to lie in QA and dev systems without encryption. So these two use cases are the primary product use cases, but the customer can use in any other online data encryption requirement. To also inform you about the upcoming release of engineproducts.com, Engine Secure version 2 is the upcoming release of the company for all encryption requirements where automation is required in a SAP systems. Few examples of such encryption requirements are credit card encryption, payment card encryption, bank file encryption, and any other requirement which involves encryption and decryption process scheduled in a background job in SAP system. Now I'm going to demonstrate to you how the product is set up and what are the tools available in the product for encryption and decryption process in Engine Secure version 1.0. So when you start your SAP, if you have the Engine Secure solution area menu added to your user profile, you will see the menu opening up in the startup or as per your convenience. The menu gives you 4 options, which includes the security tools for the product, the configurations of the product, and reporting of the product. This also additionally provides a developer's guide to the APIs which they can use as per their convenience in any other use case they want where online data encryption is involved. Now to begin with the configurations first, under Engine Secure configurations, we need to set up the algorithms required for the product. So the product gives you a plethora of algorithms to set up as per your country law, and you can check your country law which algorithms is permitted or your organization which they want to use and set up the algorithm configuration. So the product gives you a highest degree of protection of sensitive data by mixing or combining two crypto systems known as symmetric crypto systems and asymmetric crypto system to make it a hybrid crypto system. In simple terms, Engine Secure version 1.0 works on a hybrid crypto model where symmetric crypto system is combined with asymmetric crypto systems. Now under symmetric crypto system configuration, you have the first 5 settings over here, and then the asymmetric crypto system setting are there. The next comes the user password protection algorithm, and then the other algorithms which are used internally by the product for data compression and data encoding, and finally the service provided of the cryptographic algorithms. So to begin with, you have symmetric algorithms over here. You can choose one of the 7 or 6 actually algorithms provided over here, and the 7 confidentiality modes along with it. If you don't want to set the confidentiality mode, you can choose the no initial vector generation and it won't use the confidentiality mode. Now confidentiality mode are used to protect or add to the security level of the sensitive data while encrypting it. So it's recommended to use the confidentiality mode when you are executing a symmetric encryption algorithm. So I have chosen under symmetric algorithm AES algorithm, which is the most recommended symmetric algorithm worldwide. The CBC confidentiality mode, which is also the most recommended confidentiality mode of a symmetric algorithm. I have chosen under symmetric key bits, which is in simple terms symmetric key length. So I have chosen the lengthiest of all key lengths, because as per security standard, the lengthier the security key length is, the most secured the encrypted results are. So I have chosen 256 bits length of symmetric key to be generated on fly by the product whenever you are executing encryption and decryption via the product's APIs. Now this is a padding algorithm, which is PKS 5 padding, used as a default in symmetric uh, encryption process. Next comes the asymmetric algorithm configuration, which the product defaults to RSA asymmetric algorithm, and the asymmetric padding used defaulted to PKCS type 1 or type 2. So by this configuration, the hybrid system configurations are completed. Next we move on to the hash algorithm configuration, which are required to protect your digital certificate and private key, and more specifically the private key actually, um, by the hash algorithm. So I am going to cover and demonstrate to you how it is protecting your private key by your entered password using the hash algorithm. So I have chosen SHA-256 algorithm as the hash algorithm used for the product. You can choose any of the five algorithms of hashing provided by the product. Now coming to the compression part, compression of data is performed during saving of data in SAP database, during transfer of data from the crypto product or tool to SAP system. So you need to choose deflat compression algorithm as default, because um, the crypto tool as well as the SAP ABAP both uses deflat algorithm as default compression algorithm. Next, the compression used in uh, the crypto tool itself before executing encryption process is zlib compression algorithm as a default. Next comes the data encoding and escape character configuration, which are also a default configuration used by the product internally, and you can choose the default configuration as base64 for data encoding, and for escape characters HTTP utility escape URL characters in data. Next, for audit trial purpose, you need to select the cryptographic provider or the service provider or the library in simple terms used for the cryptographic process of encryption and decryption. So AS3 crypto version 1.4 with our modification included is the library being used for the product encryption and decryption process. Once you do that, you need to save the data. Because I have already saved, it says data already saved, and you have to check on the active flags to make it an active configuration. So only one active configuration of algorithms can exist in the product at one time. Now going back, once we have done this, as a second step we need to identify our sensitive fields and tables to be encrypted by the product, which are meeting the requirement of online encryption process in SAP. So to do so, let's have an example. So I am trying to encrypt for demonstration purpose the vendor master data fields such as name 1, name 2, name 3, name 4, the city, the district, the uh, post office box, the post office postal code, the postal code itself, and the region, which is state, province or country, as well as the search term, the house number and street, and the address number or the address key. So this all personal data within a vendor master I'm going to um, and also the country key. So all this um, I'm going to encrypt by the product and demonstrate to you how it has been done. Similarly, you can configure your table sensitive data in the fields configuration, which I am going to show you in a bit, and you can use the product's API or existing tools to encrypt the data online. So before doing so, I also need to append a structure. So I have appended a structure which I have named. So you can name a Z append structure to include the cryptographic results set into the SAP standard table, as I have done here, and any other Z table or custom table which you might have will also um, support the product encryption and decryption processes. And you need to store the encryption result by appending a new structure in the table corresponding to the sensitive fields which you have gathered in your requirement. So once you have done that, you need to set the sensitive fields customer configuration. So for example, if I go to the change mode and display one of the entry, so I have added already the vendor master sensitive fields as per my demonstration is concerned, such as name one field which uh, contains the vendor's name in the vendor master, the crypto field name which is nothing but the encryption result to be stored in this field belonging to this table. So the append structure includes this field name already, so we need to give this predefined field names in the crypto field name, the encrypted key field name, and the initial vector field name over here. So these are predefined field names which you need to provide after appending your structure or the engine structure in your use case standard or custom table. You can also define a process name to identify which process it belongs to, such as I have done here, like vendor master name 1. And also you have to give here the default retrieval process and the saving process. So what I mean by these two fields are the product gives you an ability to auto retrieve the data from your sensitive table fields and also auto store it without any custom development which you might need to do. So you by configuring these two fields, you may not go for any other custom development and reduce your cost significantly while supporting the encryption process in your use case scenario. So these three fields over here and these two fields are predefined fields, and the rest actually you have to configure as per your choice. So you can give the process name as per your choice to define the process. You can give the table name over here and the sensitive field name, and a process identifier which uniquely identifies the table and the process as such. You can also give the default value which needs to be shown to the screen of your SAP system after the encryption process is over. So I have given a 35 character length masked value over here to actually replace my name1 value in the vendor master. Now these two fields corresponds to the certificate owner or the digital certificate owner, which is me in my case, and the engine secure key store ID, in which my digital certificate, my encrypted private key file and other details are stored. So I am going to cover this, how to get these values, in a bit, but you need to configure all of this against the sensitive field name and the table name and save the record. So I have added all the fields which I showed you belonging to vendor master. So all these fields are standard table fields, and I have configured by assigning to a process ID 2, so that I can denote that all vendor master encryption process belongs to process ID 2. Now I have also configured that the product also gives the ability to not only encrypt standard tables but also custom tables. So I have added a custom table and its sensitive fields to be encrypted, such as my P card or payment card custom table having card number as my sensitive field and the card description as the sensitive field. So you can, as per your use case, configure any standard table, assign it to a process identifier, or any custom table as per your use case, and assign it to a process identifier, and similarly give all these values, most of which are predefined values of the product, and you have to give the same things in caps or capital letters, such as the retrieval process, the storage process, and the cryptographic results. Only the process name or the description, actually the digital certificate owner and the digital certificate key store ID and the tokenized data value you need to provide as per your use case. You can also go for a tokenized procedure, which is a function module, if you want the default masked value to be dynamically determined by the product. So if you give the function module name over here, which we have a template, the product will automatically call your procedure and to determine the dynamic tokenized value after the encryption process to show in your SAP GUI or web screens. So once you have done the sensitive fields configuration, you need to upload a certificate against a user ID. So if you are a SAP user ID, you can use the Engine Secure Certificate Management tool. But if you are a non-SAP user ID, such as vendor in SAP SRM use case, the product gives you an API to call from the web screen and use the same certificate management tool, by which vendors can upload his digital certificate, his private key file, and store or upload the files in the Engine Secure key store, which I am going to show you in this tool demonstration. and then you're good to go to carry out your encryption and decryption process. So I'm going to show you how an SAP user ID can upload his um, digital certificate along with his private key file. So on clicking on execute, a tool appears for upload digital certificates and private key files to SAP. Now it gives you in steps what are the steps to be followed, so it's pretty much straightforward. And you need to give in step 1 your digital certificate file issued by your certificate authority, and if it is not issued by any certificate authority and it is self-signed certificate, then automatically the product determines that factor and skips the step 2. But if you have a certificate authority, then you need to specify the root certificate file so that the product can verify your certificate against the root certificate file. As steps 3, you need to upload your private key file corresponding to your digital certificate, and in step 4, you need to protect your private key file by a password of your choice, which is recommended to be as long uh, as possible. So there is a long field over here to give a passphrase, which is actually a long password containing up to any number of characters, but recommended to be um, for protection reason anything between 50 to 100 is fine, so that it makes more difficult for any potential hacker to um, not able to decrypt your encrypted private key file, which is uploaded by the Engine Secure tool. So I'm going to demonstrate how these 4 steps are performed while uploading digital certificates. So when I click on browse, I go for the RSA digital certificates provided by my certificate authority. So for test purpose, I am using some test digital certificates. So now I'm choosing 1024 bits RSA certificate, which is in PM format. So that is the format which the product recognizes. So PM formats are very common, and any certificate provider um, provides you with the PM format easily, or else you can also convert that using popular tools which your admin can help it out, or we can also help you out by how to convert certificates from one format to the PM format. So now clicking on this, the certificate file has been uploaded to my screen only. Now I have to give the root certificate who has issued me the certificate. So I'm giving the root certificate file, which is this in my case. As a next step, the private key file. So this is my private key file, and then the password. So I am going to give a short password, but it is recommended for actual use case to give a long password, and that's why the name in security standard is passphrase. In the background of the tool, it also verifies the validity of your certificate, whether your private key matches to the certificate or not, and whether your root CA actually has issued you the certificate or not. So after doing so, you can click on upload key pair files, which are the pair of digital certificates and the private key. On clicking on this, it uploads the certificate files along with its private key to the SAP screen, but it has not yet been saved, so you have to click on the save button. So I am saving it. Once it is you click on save, it will issue a message that one user certificate and its encrypted private key has been uploaded successfully. So it grabs hold of all of the details provided in the certificate file and presents you on the screen, such as uh, it also gives the ability for users in a color coded format to identify the most useful information for end users, that is the valid from and to date of the certificate, and the certificate issuer who has issued you the certificate, the serial number of your certificate, along with many other details such as the version of your certificate, etc. It also gives you how many alerts have been sent to you that your certificate is going to be expired. So since I have just uploaded the certificate, the alert count is 0. Now you can also delete your key store from usage in future, and then the delete column will have a X flag over here. So along with it, there are various details which the product grabs and shows you on the screen, um, which actually the admins would understand the meaning of all these columns, such as certificate subject refers to the person who has received the certificate. So the common name of the person, the organization name stands for O, the state he belongs to, and the country, that is Japan in my test case. So by help of the color coded format, you can know which are the meaningful information for you, along with other useful information which are not um, uh, very useful when you are seeing the certificates and want to find out valuable information on the first look of it. So the light blue colored fields represent the fields you want to see at first, such as the serial number, and the issuer uniquely identifies your certificate, and there is nobody else in the world who will be having the same information as the two columns. So these two columns are marked in a color coded format so that you can identify this information at the first look of your key management tool visit. Now once you have uploaded the certificate, you will be getting a generated key store ID over here. So I'm going to copy this key store ID and the key store owner and go back to the sensitive fields configuration and put into my vendor master scenario. And give this key store ID over here. You can also grab using a search help and the key store owner. You can scroll next, grab and save. So this will actually mean that you are using the key store ID 79 corresponding certificate for your encryption decryption process related to vendor master sensitive fields. Also, as you can see, the tokenized value differs from field to field as per their length supported. but all the predefined fields remain constant because that's the product's ability to auto retrieve data for you and auto save the encrypted results for you. Now there are many fields I have configured out here to show you how in a short you can encrypt all these sensitive fields without doing any custom development. But if you have your own use case, so all my sensitive fields have been configured properly. Now I go back to the certificate management tool. So I showed you the upload certificate option. Here the admin can also upload certificate of his or other users, and to enable the process, such as some companies would want that uh, one certificate and private key file should be used for all business users using a particular SAP screen or web screen. For such use cases, you can give all end users user ID and upload the common certificate file and private key file by executing this uh, certificate management upload tool. Once you have uploaded, like I did just now, I can view all of my certificates by the view option. I can export any certificate to my local system, so it will actually uh, ask me for the place and I can store it. So I can store to my desktop by exporting it, and it will confirm that. I can also export similarly my root certificate file. I can also delete any certificate from usage in the process further, and on doing so, which I have already done, the deletion flag will be marked as X. Also later on I will show you that uh, this product gives you an ability to send notification or advance notification also to users whose certificates are going to expire. So the count says how many alerts have gone, and the product right now defaults to the alert count of 3, post which it will automatically delete your certificate on the expiration date. I mean, once the expiration date is arrived and it's over, it will mark as X. You can also view other certificate if you are an admin and you have the privilege of uh, accessing other information, other users information from here. For that you need to add some security objects to the role of the person who is the admin user. But it's recommended as a standard practice that to use your own personal certificate and private key, and not uh, trust the admin to do anything um, when it comes to the best practices of security. But in case you want to use in a scenario where admin can uh, upload one certificate for all users, then it becomes useful to view other certificates and upload other certificates also. So once you have uploaded your certificates from the Engine Secure certificate management tool, now you are ready to use the data conversion tool of the product. Now the data conversion product or the tool actually is used to convert the existing sensitive data uh, in the database to the encrypted format. This finds useful in scenarios such as SAP data scrambling tool in QA and dev environment to protect sensitive personal identifiable information. So I'm going to show you that use case over here. So I had configured earlier the vendor master table as my sensitive table along with its numerous fields for my demonstration purpose as the sensitive data. Now before doing so, I have to generate the GUIDs in the table. So I click on this option and I execute. It will create the GUIDs for all the records in the vendor master, and I can see those things by choosing the engine secure row GUID, which uniquely identifies a table record in the vendor master, and move it up. So now all the GUIDs are created and displayed over the screen, but it is not yet saved. So you have to click on the save option to save the GUIDs in the underlying database. So I am clicking on the save button. Now it has been saved in the database. Now I can move to uh, execute encryption of existing data as a scrambling tool in QA and dev environment. So I choose the encrypt data option, which always auto saves the encrypted results in the database without you have to do any kind of custom development in any use case you have. So the product auto saves and saves you or reduces the development cost of dealing with encryption, which none in the market actually provides. They are all external tools, and you have to execute a tremendous cost of using such products in your SAP business process scenario to autosave and decrypt data also, and you have to do all kind of custom development to support such external products. But the product engine secure gives you all the ability. So I'm going to execute this. So this process identifier is actually the one I had configured in the sensitive fields configuration corresponding to the vendor master. So if I go back to that data conversion tool, I choose LFA1 and its process identifier as 2, and choose on encrypt data records and choose the number of records in a batch I want to process. It's recommended to use up to 500 records at a time in a batch, but you can increase. But since encryption process is usually a very heavy process and you are going to encrypt in one shot a batch of records, your depending on your CPU processing time, it can take a lot of time to do that. So it's recommended to perform this activity in small batches. So I'm choosing 500 as my number of records in a batch to process, choosing the encrypt data autosave option, and my table and the process identifier. So it will open up a sheet for you to select data and execute encryption. Now I can choose my encryption results to be viewed from here, or I can just keep simple and view my original records of the vendor master without seeing the encryption results on screen. So I'm choosing all these records, and I have configured uh, from the country up to the address number over here. So all these fields I have chosen as my sensitive fields in my demonstration purpose, and all this data are actually personal identifiable data which might stretch across various tables, but you have to just configure and use the data conversion tool to encrypt all the records in all the linking tables you have, and the product will auto grab all the records and encrypt and save for you. So on clicking on this encrypt button, a secure session launches as shown in at the bottom of the screen, and it grabs holds all the data to be encrypted and shows you a screen or a tool to enter your password. So I am going to use the same password I had used for my certificate upload purpose, and using the same password it will try to decrypt my private key file and authenticate the process of encryption or decryption. So this is known as OpenPGP. Now once I click on start process, the encryption process starts. And in few seconds you will see that the encryption results are auto saved and shown to you on the screen of the data conversion tool, which can be used, as I'm showing you, as a data scrambling tool. So now the encryption results has come back to SAP, and the screen is trying to refresh the data already auto saved by the product, and it will replace your screen values original sensitive data with tokenized values which you have defined in the sensitive fields configuration which I showed earlier. So the country is replaced by 3 marks characters, the name one by 35 long characters. Similarly, the city, the district, the PO box postal code, and the postal code itself, the region, which can be state, country, or province, the search term, the street of the vendor, and the address number. All the other details which I have not configured stays as it is. So you can choose your sensitive fields in the configuration without fearing that other data might get hampered. So once I have done this, I can just click on the next batch to process the next set of records. So the product auto grabs all the records in a set of 500 which I had provided, which you can reduce or increase as per your choice, but keeping in mind that encryption process on a bulk of records can be a cost timing process. So I can choose again the next batch and encrypt. So in a minute or two, similarly, it will auto grab all the records from the database for you which you have defined as sensitive fields and perform the encryption process after you have entered your password. Now here I want to show you something else. If I give a wrong password like test123, which is not my actual password I used for the certificate upload process, it will identify it and give me the message of passphrase entered is invalid. Now I can give the actual, or I can actually give the same password 3 times to actually fail the process of encryption, and it will show on my screen that 3 failed attempts for passphrase. So the secure session was terminated, and all these logs you are seeing, the success log or the error log, will be auto saved in the session log, and in audit trial reporting all these logs can be seen which you have attempted to process, and when you attempted to process, what are the sensitive fields you have configured, what are the algorithms in the system used during that point of time. All those audit logs will be captured, which I am going to show you next. So I repeat the process, and this time I give the right password. So I gave the right password. I clicked on start process, and it will take a minute to execute all the encryption process, auto save it to your SAP database, and refresh to your screen uh, in a minute or so. So now the encryption process is completed, and it will auto refresh the results on your screen. So if I can proceed to go to the next batch to process the next batch, or go to the previous batch to see the results of my previous batch of records, and go to the first batch similarly. Now I go back, and now I execute the decrypt process, which is always done in a simulation mode. It is not auto saved because you don't want to decrypt and auto save your results in the database. So the product always simulates it for you and shows you onto the screen, and then you may choose to click on the save button to actually save the decrypted data. So if I choose all my entries in the first batch, click on decrypt, and enter my password. Now the decryption has finished, and it is trying to refresh the decrypted data onto the data conversion tool screen. So as you can see, all my original data is back on my screen, and I choose the save button to actually revive my data back. So it asks for your confirmation to actually store decrypted data in database, and I click on yes, and it has saved it. Now I click on the next batch to revive my decrypted data back. So I give the password over here. Now similarly, it will try to auto refresh the screen with the decrypted data, and I will save it. So this is all about the data scrambling tool use case, which I showed you in the presentation. So by this, all the personal identifiable data which are defined as sensitive fields as per your country law can be protected in quality and development SAP systems using the tool. So I click on save over here. Now if I go back to the table to view my data, so all original data are revived back in my system without causing any kind of data missing scenario, as you can see. Now further, the audit trial report at the end monitors all these processes which I was showing you of the product. It gives you the ability to display certificates which are going to expire in advance of some days. So I have given 30 days as default dates. So none of my certificate were actually invalid. So it will give me that all certificates are valid in the Engine Secure Key Store. If I increase uh, the advance dates, it will still not give me. But if I increase to a limit such as like 1 year past, then since my start date was few months ago and not actually 1 year, my start date of using my certificate won't be arrived, and the product will show it as an anomaly under expiration. So all these certificates actually has the end date as 1521 days from today, but still gives as an expiration report because I'm validating from the start date as 364 days from today. So my start valid from date of my test certificates are 2012 August 22, but since right now it is May 29, it is actually calculating the start date from May 29 2012, and it found that the certificate should not have been used because it's starting from a later date, and hence it gives me the in the expiration report. So the valid from anomaly as well as the valid to anomaly, which is not there in my use test case, uh, all will be shown in the expiration report. And if you you have to schedule all these things in the background, the audit trial report, and if you check on this button, it will actually uh, send the alert notification, and if the alert count is equal to the maximum number of alerts to be notified, I mean more than the maximum, then it will auto delete the certificate from the usage. So as you can see, it gave me the same uh, expiration report, and if I visit now the SOST transaction for mail sending, So you will see that so many certificates has gone to me in my personal ID with the attachment that your certificate uh, is to be renewed, and it attaches the actual certificate to be renewed from the key store. It also tells you the key store ID and the number of actual expiration days left. So now, going back to the audit trail report, the second option of display algorithm configured shows the algorithm configured in the system right now in a snapshot, so that auditors or the admins can review what are the algorithms configured from this option. It also shows the certificate session logs or the certificate upload to logs if I both the completed and the incompleted sessions. So if I choose today's date of 30th May and execute, it will show my the two attempts which was made by me. The first one was terminated, and the second one was uploaded successfully. So this is the completion indicator of the session, and this is the process completion indicator, that this process was completed but this was not, and the user who was actually uploading the certificate, the algorithm used in the certificate upload process. Similarly, the encryption and decryption session logs can be also monitored. So it's trying to pull all the sessions which were run in today's date from the system and present to you that what all happened with the sessions. So as you can see, it gives the table records, GUIDs, the process which is crypto, stands for encryption decryption process, completion indicator as the session has been completed or not, the dialog user used for communicating from the crypto tool and the SAP system, the process completion indicator, the process log whether it is completed or failed. So you will find some of the logs saying that it has been failed due to password failure. So as you can see, it says 3 failed attempts for passphrase, which I showed you in the demonstration. The algorithm used at that time when the user was executing the encryption decryption process. So all these algorithms were used behind the scene. So this is a very important log for auditors and admins to see what happened in the entire year whenever encryption decryption was taking place in the system, and who did that. So this is the row GUID of the table records being processed. These are the names of the sensitive fields being processed. These are the table name which has the sensitive fields, the process identifier, the mode, that is encrypt or decrypt, the digital certificate key store owner who actually whose certificate were actually used for the process. So this actually by this owner name and his key store ID, we can identify that which certificate file was used during the process, or whose certificate file was used in the process, and we can have a fallout plan whenever possible. Then the log date, the log time, the log user. So if the deletion or anything else happened, then the session was completed. So the completion date, time, and completion user will be recorded also. In case of where the uh, password failure happened or any other kind of failure happened, the completion date, time, user won't be updated. So the product gives you all kind of audit trail reporting, so that at the end you know what happened during the entire crypto process. So all these configurations, the processing options and this transaction as such needs to be scheduled in a background job, so that your process uh, health check is done in a regular basis, and you get all the logs uh, in the system, and which can be finally reviewed by the auditor at year end or whenever the time comes. So this was a tool for reporting. Now for developers, there is a test program, and you have to go to system status and to the actual program to check the usage of the APIs being used. So this is the crypto API, and how the instruction how to use the API result in your use case. And this particularly becomes important in SAP SRM scenario, where from the SAP SRM web UI screen you call the API, so that vendors can upload the certificate uh, using the API, as well as the vendors can uh, encrypt or decrypt his quotation data using the APIs. So the APIs can be used in the SAP SRM scenario uh, uh, by calling the APIs from the web UI screens, which is WebDyn Pro in present version, and in any newer version, if uh, SAP releases any new screens or UI technology, the same API will be compatible with that also. So this covers the two use cases which I showed you, as a data scrambling tool in non-production system environment, as well as the SAP SRM system use case. Beside this, there is one other thing for vendors especially, or any other external uh, users like vendors, customer, um, employee, um, having the ability to encrypt his personal information from any UI screen. So any use case which involves external users, uh, the Engine Secure Business Partner Master Data gives the ability to integrate your external business partner ID in here. So that concludes the demonstration of today's. If you have any questions, please write to us in our website email ID, and we will reply you back about the product demonstration queries. Thank you once again for hearing me out, and have a nice day.